This is the Blix Komfort Plus, spelled with a K, and it's actually produced by a company that supplies the Scandinavian market in Europe. They've been around since about 2006, but this is the first year that this company is making bikes for the United States market. You can kind of see down here, Cycle of Sweden. So it's really cool. It's kind of got this like nice green Euro racing color, but it also comes in white, it comes in black, and this one in particular, sort of that really comfort step-through design. I weighed it, it's about 49 pounds. The battery pack is 7.1 pounds, and it, of course uses these nice lithium ion batteries, 18650 cells, and the battery is removable, so that's really handy. I was kind of checking it out down here. Kingco is the brand, and it's 36 volt, 10 amp hour, so I'd call that about average in terms of capacity. And the motor, 350 watt geared design right here. You can see it's 8Fun, which is a well-known Chinese company. So decent stuff. I'd call it kind of average, but it's probably going to get a little bit better range than a lot of bikes with the similar specs because it only goes up to about 16 miles per hour. So it's a little bit slower. It's kind of like European specs in that sense. And it's just, in my opinion, it's kind of about relaxing and having this clean, beautiful look. They have tossed in a couple extras, including this nice little Kendo LED light with reflector, and I love that it's powered off of the battery pack, so you don't have to worry about putting batteries in it, having those run out. The wires are all integrated into the frame, and they use this nice cable wrap that looks really clean and professional. In terms of comfort, I guess the saddle is a little bit nicer. It's got like this springs going on right there, and it's handy little lever like that. So it flips up and you can actually pull the battery off. And in order to do that, you have to unlock the battery right there and then pull up on it like this. There we go. It slides right off. So it can be charged on or off the bike. And that's super handy for people who either want to transport this bike. There is a quick release on the front wheel, so you can kind of take that off, make this super light, toss it in your car, whatever. Carry it upstairs if you have to, although that would be a little bit tricky. They do have a folding electric bike too, so that might be a little bit better for people who actually plan to, move it around a lot. I love that the saddle matches the grips right here. We've got some nice stitching going on, and they're kind of an ergonomic design, again, going for that comfort. And these upgraded Tektro brake levers, they even have a little bit of rubber on them right there. Just gonna kind of bring it all together. Zoom handlebars, a little bit of a kind of like a gull wing, they rise and then sweep back a little bit. So when you're riding this thing, you have more of a heads up point of view. You can keep your eye out for cars while you're riding around and not get, a sore neck and back. Although this doesn't have a suspension fork, the whole thing is aluminum alloy, the frame and then the fork up front. Kind of basic brakes here. Just V-brakes, rim brakes on the front and rear by Tektro. They are a little bit easier to service. These are mechanical. And speaking of serviceability, you've got a little quick disconnect right here for the display panel, which is just basic LED. And we've got another quick disconnect over here for the motor in the rear. Although at the rear, there isn't a quick release or anything. So that's kind of worth keeping in mind. We've got a 7-speed, little kind of a trigger shifter thing going on up here. Shimano Alivio cassette in the rear. So decent, sort of around town specs is what we're looking at. But I do like that they've included a little plastic chain guide right here. You can see it keeps the chain on track, so if you're going over bumpy terrain, it's less likely to flop off. Pedals are sort of basic, but they get the job done. Well-go plastic with a little bit of rubber grip. If it does get wet outside, those pedals can get a little bit more slippery, but there is a hole right there on the front fork and near the seat stays for adding fenders. And I just talked to the guys who work at this company, and they talked about adding like a rear carry rack at some point. You can see there's some threaded eyelets here. It doesn't have seat stay bosses on the side, so it might all have to mount right there in the middle, but it's possible. This whole thing is ready to go and kind of be upgraded for a little bit more utility if it rains where you live. Got an adjustable height kickstand on the left, and yeah, I think that's a pretty good roundup. The tires are a little bit more narrow. 700 by 35C, so 700, it's really like 28 inches about. It's kind of road bike size, but you'll notice they're a little bit fatter at 35C, and kind of a hybrid tread going on. And they're, you know, efficient. And again, at that lower speed, you're going to be encountering less wind resistance, so you should get decent range. But when you're going over cracks and stuff, you can feel that a little bit more, and it can kind of vibrate you a little bit. This is a more value price bike at about $2,000. And again, it does come in that black, white, or this nice green color. So this might be a good time to hop on and give it a go. The bike does have a couple of different drive modes. It uses a 12 sensor pedelec disc down here, so there's 12 little magnets and they pass a sensor, and having 12 instead of 6 or 5 makes this a little bit smoother and more consistent feeling. And there's also a trigger throttle which can override pedal assist at any time, and you know, you've got like a 4-bar battery indicator and then 3 levels of assist along with the light. One complaint I have is that after you lock the battery to the bike frame like that, and then you actually have to put it here at the top and click it to on. So that constantly has to stay in, it doesn't come out. And it's handy, it looks convenient right now because there's no keychain dangling, but you can imagine that could, you know, potentially chip this. If you have a really long keychain, it could kind of get in your way if your leg is right here going up and down. So that's something I call out whenever I see a battery design like this. But you know, it's kind of like a car, I guess, in a sense. You leave the key in, it's not the end of the world. I'm gonna go ahead and hop on this thing and, you know, power up some hills. I'm in Santa Monica, California right now. It's a beautiful day, and we've got a big hill right around the corner. So first thing I do is hold the power button, it comes to life. Kind of see it, we got basically a full battery charge. I'm gonna do the light real quick, check that out. Yeah, you can see it beaming up front, very cool. I'm just gonna do that nice step-through frame, really easy to mount, nice and comfortable to stand over at stoplights. And as soon as I start pedaling, it kicks right in. Pretty fast, pretty zippy. Almost makes me question that claim of 15.5 miles per hour. So this is a really big hill. You know, I'm pedaling along. Now I'm gonna go into pedal assist, or throttle mode only, and see if we can maintain. Doing really well so far. I'm at a stop sign about halfway up the hill. I'm gonna let this car go by and then see if we can make it up that. You can see here, you know, that's flat and that's the hill. So here we go. We're making it. We're making it. Yeah, look at how steep this is. I mean, this is impressive, and I am not pedaling at all. We did it. Look at that. Oh my goodness. Wow, very impressive. And you know, I guess I attribute that to my weight. I'm like 135 pounds, and the battery's fully charged, so it's got the full potential with the voltage. But not bad at all. You know, if you're cruising around, especially if you're using pedal assist, this bike is gonna really help you out and extend your range and just keep your knees and stuff from feeling tired and worn out. I've actually had a pretty good time riding this bike, and I may have failed to mention earlier that it does have the sort of the motor inhibitor on both brake levers, so anytime you hit those, you're gonna kill power to the motor. But given the 12 magnet cadence sensor here, and maybe just the software that they're using on this bike, it stops really quickly. It's very responsive. So I'm a fan, you know, again, 2,000 bucks, that's the Blix Komfort step-through electric bike. For the full written review on this with pictures and other electric bikes, I'll see you back at ElectricBikeReview.com.